Now moving on to the Cowboys side of it. So I thought this was fun. Jerry Jones teased before Monday Night Football on the radio that the Cowboys had a big trade made. And it's like, and he's like, oh, I can't say who it is. I can't say who it is. Classic Jerry. Go farm the media for a little bit of attention, get some, some impressions, some clicks on the Cowboys stuff. And they got cooked on Monday night by the Cardinals, which I'll probably talk about at some point this week. Because they got dominated in that game. So good, in fact, that a few minutes ago, Jacoby Brissett just got named a starter over Kyler Murray. We see that come out, and then they get cooked. And then to the next day, so today, we get a notification early in the morning that they traded for Logan Wilson from the Bengals for a 7th-round pick. And it's like, really, Jerry? Really? That was the big trade you cooked up? That was the one that needed hyping up for the full day and past your shit Monday night performance. But then, I guess a few hours passed. And then it was like, okay, Quinnen Williams drops. And it's like, okay, Jerry, I see what you did. All right, that's fair. That was, okay, I see. So Quinnen Williams for a 2nd-round pick this year, and then a 1st-round pick next year that is either the Packers or the Cowboys, whichever one's better. Which I didn't know you could actually do, by the way. I fully thought it was like you had to just pick a draft choice to go. I didn't know you could give a choice or like do a better or worse option like the NBA can. I don't think I've seen that. So Quinnen Williams, if you look at his contract, he is relatively cheap for the next 2 years. Or yeah, like this year and then the next 2 years after that. And now we can look back at the Micah trade. And it was, they got 2 firsts back. And now they used one of those firsts plus a 2nd for Quinnen. So they probably traded up from their 2nd-round pick, like 20 or 30 slots, whatever, to wherever Green Bay ends up falling at the end of this year. So they get better draft capital, and they turned Micah, who is going to be a very, very expensive player for them. I think he ends up costing the Packers $47 million a year. So they turned that 47 into 20 with Quinnen Williams, and they still have a beast on that defensive line. Now, if that was the move the Cowboys made at the start of this season, I would have been like, okay, that was crazy as shit to trade Micah. But I can't say that this is a completely stupid move. I can't say that was like, you're an absolute buffoon. But that's not what they did. The fact that Quinnen is brought in, like Quinnen is going to do nothing for them this year. The Cowboys have so many problems on that defense. They're getting no good corner play. They're not getting linebacker play. They're not getting safety play. They're not getting D-line play. And their DC is shit. Every single part of that defense is bad and needs a giant overhaul. I don't care if Quinnen Williams was Max Crosby. It was not fixing that defense. So it's more of a thing of like, I really do like it for next year now. Because obviously they still have 2 first-round picks to work with this year. Hopefully they bring in a new DC for Cowboys fans' sakes. And, obviously in free agency, I don't know how much money they'll have to spend, but they can sort of look to add or subtract in free agency. And they can start to build that defense around Quinnen, which could work. I honestly think that, that's a good plan. So it took, I guess, right around 10 weeks, but I'm starting to see Jerry's vision here a little bit when it comes to the Micah trade. Again, Quinnen is not the player that Micah Parsons is. I want to make that very clear. But the fact that they were able to save like $25 million a year on that contract, I still hate it. It's one of those things where I've been thinking about it for like the last few hours, and I still haven't come up with like a solid thing of like whether I like it or I hate it. And I think it's just because like I'm just starting to understand it a little bit. Anyways, sorry, I just got fully distracted with that. They did have to give up a haul. Like, there's no way around it. The Jets openly said like they're not going to trade Quinnen unless they get blown away by an offer. And a 1st and a 2nd plus Mozzie Smith was getting blown away. That was a very, very good offer. And Mozzie Smith for the Cowboys was a healthy scratch. Like, he clearly didn't work out. That was an absolute bust of a pick a few years ago. I really like their interior defensive line now, of course, with Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark. So those two together, plus Donovan Ezeraku, who is a rookie for them this year, who I really liked coming out of the draft, seeing what he can do in his 2nd year. Again, for any Cowboys fan who now delusionally has hope this year, fully erase it. Quinnen Williams was not the missing piece. The chessboard is empty right now. You need all of the pieces to fix it. So as much as like a queen would help, Still got all those other pieces. That was so nerdy. I'm sorry. Uh, anyways, again, for next year, I'm again starting to see the vision.